Hi, everyone. Johnny checking in before we continue croaking Mike. We're still in chapter 3, but we're getting close to the end of it, in the beginning of chapter 4, which is called Tender Loving Cows. I thought that was clever back then, but 2019, it's a long time ago, isn't it? So wild to consider. So many things changed in the whole world for everybody. I don't think any of us are the same person we were in 2019. 6 years. And when I was writing this book in prison, I was going through a lot of things. I was in therapy at the time. And I think that began to reflect in my writing. But definitely by this point, I had latched on to what my literary voice was, and I knew exactly the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And so with the Tengu courts and the Kitsune League and the Tanuki Federation and all the various other governing bodies of yokai having their own political machinations going on, and keeping the story focused on Mike and what Mike is doing and what's happening to Mike. It was a difficult balance to maintain. But I also was struggling with Mike's relationship with Sylvie, and then, of course, Mike's developing relationship with Karen, and also with Kylie. Not so much Madame Borgia. I knew exactly what his relationship with her was going to be like. And, uh, and developing Mike's relationship with Tybalt was very, very important to me as I was writing this novel, because I wanted to show that they had both of them had a strong compersion, where they both really got feelings of joy and excitement for how the other developed their relationships, and wanting to be happy when they were happy, especially the bonding that occurs between Mike and Sylvia. And and Tybalt just, he wants so much to bond with Mike and to be a good influence on his life, because he knows Mike's going through a lot, and he knows Mike has gone through a lot. Anyway, I'll go ahead and continue the story where we left off in chapter 3 of Croaking Mike. Yeah, I'm neither of those things. Since my mom wants to go slow, I bet it drives you crazy, huh? Karen asked. A bit. Most yokai just jump into bed. If you want, you and me could. She looked at him and then kissed him. Adela hooted gruffly and pushed open a window to climb out. Oh, he was tempted. Would it be right, Karen? He asked. How could it not be right? What's going on between you and my mom is not between you and me, or you and your queen. She touched his face. You could get my milk warm from the source, and then we can make love right here on my bed. I'd like that. Wouldn't you? Karen kissed him again. I haven't pumped yet. You like my big boobs, right? Mike nodded. Just say yes, she whispered. Karen, I want to. I do, he said. She pulled back. Why do you hesitate? Aren't I pretty? I'm tired, and I'm sore. It's going to be dinner soon. She checked her phone. Good point. Rain check then? Please. She grinned. Say yes. Yes, please, Karen. Yes. I'll pump after then. Give Mom plenty of time to finish. She pecked his cheek and moved her hand to his neck. We'll be jolly friends, Mike. I just bet we're compatible in bed, too. See you later, sexy king. She walked away and down the stairs. Wear the gi. I like a fighter, she added. Borgia bit his ankle from under the bed. You got me, he sighed. Never let your brain give way to your dick, Mike. Assassins learn seduction, or at least know the value of hiring a whore. Your dick will always make you vulnerable if you let it. Yes, madame. Having sex with a mother and a daughter was the stuff of those fake letters to Penthouse. So was dating a literal goddess, now that he considered it. He looked out the window, lifting it higher for Adela's convenience upon his return, and he looked at the sun. Amaterasu, I pledge to do what you ask of me, and I worship you. Don't expect a lot of praying, though. It's not my way, he said. She didn't say anything, or wave or anything, but he felt that he was accepted by the Sun Empress. He went downstairs to help with dinner, if he could. Mike, are you still good to help with shopping? Sylvia asked from the kitchen. Yeah, he replied, wrapping his arms around her waist. She leaned back into him for a moment, and then pulled away to finish putting rolls into the basket. Mike, please bowl up the salad in the fridge, she asked. He found 2 bags of mixed vegetable salad and carefully poured the contents into a bowl on the counter. He looked in the fridge. Caesar! You know what I like! Mike called out. Not just you, Mike. I like it too, Tybalt said. Well, we have the same good taste in women, so good taste in salad dressing makes sense too, Mike agreed. You know it, the Nekojin said, moving to the table. Mercutio and Scotty set the table, rotating together as Scotty and Mike had done. Kylie set out a pitcher of milk and glasses. Mike carried the bowl to the table before returning for the salad dressings. Whoa, they make baconated ranch? Nice, he observed. The family gathered for dinner, and Karen began talking about her classes. Each of the kids weighed in on school too. Mike remembered hating school. He'd never fit in. Maybe at yokai schools there wasn't the same pressure to conform, since everyone was so different anyway. The meal was good, and Mike complimented Sylvia's cooking, since he knew that it was important to her. She beamed. Mike tried to decide if he preferred Sylvia's milk warm or cold, which led to wondering what Karen's tasted like. He looked at her and then her mother. I bet Mike wonders how my milk tastes, Karen said, grinning. Sylvia recoiled and then smiled blandly. Well, it's natural to be curious. Is she right, Mike? He nodded. Karen's milk is good too, Mercutio said. Love you, big sis. Karen smiled. Thanks, bro. Well, Jeff will be here tonight to help you get the pressure off before you get on schedule again, Sylvia said. Great, he's a pro. So tell me about Jeff's assistant, Mike said. Oh, you mean Marge? Sylvia asked. Well, she's studying agriculture with an emphasis on dairy. I think she wants to work on a farm. Mike nodded. Is she human? He asked. Yeah, but she was adopted by some dog yokai, so she's in the club, as you might put it. Nice. Inujin, Mike said. Yeah, they like humans even more than us, Sylvia said. So, was there ever a history of cows and humans not getting along? Mike asked. That's so long ago that nobody cares. Maybe? I suspect we were always friends, though, Sylvia said. I mean, ancient wild cows and yokai cowherds assuredly had human neighbors, and apes before that, right? We like the same places. And then she looked at him closely. Is this a meat thing, Mike? Mike nodded. My ancestors weren't always nice. Mike, you aren't the whole human race. I don't care whose ancestors may or may not have eaten somebody else's ancestors. People survived how they could. I don't care if you eat beef or wear leather. Humans love both. Way I see it, by just giving and sharing after death, which is not the worst thing in the world. Tybalt nodded. Yeah, who cares who ate who? We're all friends here. He looked at his plate. Tai, I know that some yokai ate humans. I don't judge you for it, Mike said. Tybalt nodded, still not looking up. Hey, if I can eat beef or chicken or whatever, it's all right. We are civilized people, Mike said. And then he noticed Tybalt was still visibly uncomfortable. Tai, have you eaten human? We called it tuna of the land and thought it was funny. I was young and he trailed off. Everyone grew silent. My dad and my uncles took me camping, Tybalt continued. Dad said I was going to eat like a king that night. It just looked like meat, you see. I didn't watch them do the butchering or anything. I didn't know it was human until later, when my uncle asked me how I'd liked it. Tybalt looked at Mike. I wouldn't have eaten the meat, Mike. Tai, I don't judge you, Mike said. So, we're still Eskimo brothers? Tybalt asked. Of course. The past is the past. When I became king, my very first speech condemned human eating. My exact words were, we should never kill and eat any thinking person. It's the closest to a decree that I ever came. Mike nodded. I ate a hamburger once, Karen admitted. It wasn't great. I like chicken and turkey, though. They finished their meal, and Sylvia said, we're all different, but what truly matters is that we share so much with each other. We share our flaws, our strengths, our knowledge, and our experience. Most of all, as for our family, we share love. Hear, hear, Mike said, and then commenced a group hug in the kitchen. I love you all. Thank you for welcoming me into your home and family, Mike said, in the midst of the hug. Then he stopped. Where's Madame Borgia? They called for her, searching the house. They couldn't find the cat anywhere. Mike walked into the backyard, and the moonlight illuminated a fox holding Madame Borgia in its jaws. Mike saw the fox had 3 tails. Did that mean that it wasn't a very powerful kitsune? Or very powerful? He couldn't remember what he had learned. The fox took a bipedal humanoid fox shape and held Madame Borgia by the scruff of her neck. She seemed unharmed. Release the feline! What's wrong with you? Tybalt demanded. The fox yokai did nothing. What do you want? Mike demanded. The fox silently pointed at Mike. Mike advanced. Release the cat. She's nothing to you, Mike insisted. Everyone else inside. Take the animal. The kitsune said, and then he threw Borgia at Tybalt. Go. I'll handle this, Mike said. The others went inside and closed the sliding door, but they watched. You know who I am. Explain, Mike insisted. The fox licked their chops. You go making a nice big deal with the raccoons and try to cut the foxes out. We don't like that. We didn't cut you out. We stopped all hostilities, especially those that violated the three-part agreement. You didn't consult us either. One, it was between Tanuki and Tengu households, not the whole Federation and the courts. Two, I was a vassal obeying Princess Kurama's orders. You killed Gakuzo. He tried to kidnap my son. You have no proof. The League denied knowledge of the kidnapping before we announced the birth. What's your game, shitheel? The kitsune laughed. They told me you have balls. Okay, human. Here's what I want. I want you to come with me and sign a new agreement with new borders. If you don't, I'll steal your eggs. You just forfeited your right to live threatening the unhatched, Mike said. Listen, I know you've gotten lucky with that Chinese sword breaker, but you're unarmed. I'll cripple you if you're dumb enough to attack me. What's your name, Fox? I want to know your next of kin so I can give them the location of your remains. The laughing fox stepped back and held their sides, laughing and laughing. Mike took 2 more steps forward. You invade my host's home. You abduct my teacher. You threaten my children. Your name, Fox, or I'll have to tell the Kitsune League that a moron attacked me and forced me to collect their tails as proof, Mike warned. I am the king of crows. Do not presume you are able to fuck with me untouched. The Kitsune stood tall, bowed like a formal Japanese woman, and introduced himself. My name is Yuriko. Touch my tails and receive my curse. Since you won't comply, I'll have to go to Tengu Mountain. Stop! Mike commanded. Winds, prevent Yuriko the vixen from leaving. I anchor you, Mike said, drawing from his raw anger and his will. It was not a spell, so much as a molding of magical Play-Doh to make his will manifest. It took a lot out of him. Mike grinned. No escape. The fox blinked, tried to run, but bounced off of the wooden fence to her right. Mike leaped, flapped his wings, and pounced on Yuriko, feet first. He wished for talons to pierce and tear the fox fur, but he just sort of stomped on her. She grunted in pain. I want you to deliver a message, Mike said. And then he gave Yuriko a spinning kick to her face. The message is, don't fuck with King Mike or his offspring. He hopped twice more, knocking her breath away, and then hopped to the grass. Will you deliver my message? He asked. One of Yuriko's tails snaked around his ankle and yanked him off his feet. The fox caught his shoulders and began choking him with the collar of his gi, scissoring her arms. Mike felt his consciousness falter. No time. He bit her nose. She released the press, and she kick-flipped him onto his back, freeing her nose. Stupid human, don't bite me. Your teeth are pitiful. They rolled to their feet. Mike aimed a chop at her nose, which Yuriko easily ducked. She ducked into his knee and staggered back. She yelped, holding her nose. Shit! Make it look like an accident. Make it look like you're losing, Mike's brain yelled at him. Way of the victorious fool, remember? The fox charged at him and launched an elbow into his solar plexus. Mike lunged back just in time, taking several steps and falling to his knees. He made a retching noise to really sell it. The kitsune began to gloat. Well, King, not so bold now, eh? Closer, Mike urged silently. He trembled, as if struggling to stand. Closer now. Mike slitted his eyes and grimaced, feigning pain. She swaggered closer to finish him, but Mike launched himself head first under her jaw. He heard a snap, and the fox fell down, holding her jaw. I don't even know what happened, but you better go home, or I guess I could kill you, Mike said, and he stepped on one of her tails deliberately. If I take all of your tails, you'll lose all your magic, won't you? Mike asked. Then Tybalt ran out, carrying a thick, curved sword in both of his hands. No mercy! Tybalt yowled. Mike held up a hand. Answer me. The fox whined. Tybalt, will cutting off her tails take away her powers? Probably, Tybalt said. I say we take him as an example. Don't fuck with the eggs or the uncles, Tybalt said. Mike took a deep breath. Brighter future. Brighter future. Go home and tell them what I told you, because it's the truth. Never threaten my progeny. He stepped off of Yuriko's tail. He dismissed his magic. You're letting her go? Tybalt asked. Brighter future. No more disproportionate retribution, Mike said. Right. Brighter future. You be gone, Tybalt replied. Yuriko pulled herself up and ran, jumping over the fence. Think she'll come back? Mike asked. Probably. Next time she'll try to seduce you and steal your spirit essence. Maybe even try to get you to marry her and take your whole soul. Well, she'll have to have a hard time trying to seduce me, Mike insisted. The door opened and Karen ran out to embrace Mike from behind. You let her live! You're amazing, Mike, she said. Kylie and Sylvia both glared at her, unseen by Mike, but he felt their angry stares. His Tengu part must be very sensitive to eyes. He put a hand to Karen's arm and thanked her. I'm building a brighter future, he said. She released him, and then Sylvia took her place. She nuzzled his neck. I was worried, my darling, but I see now I have no cause for concern. Victorious fool, Tybalt agreed. You didn't do it too well, though. You were too competent. Yes, Sensei. Cut that shit, Mike. This is Thai, Tybalt said. King Mike the Merciful! King Mike the Fearless! Kylie cheered. Fearless is not to be admired. I'm brainwashed to assume I'm going to die in every fight I get into, so I don't hesitate to attack. It's no way to live, Mike said. Sylvia would not release him. She kissed his neck. You did well, Mike. Like a real king, she said. I am a real king, darling. I killed for my crown. It's the usual way, you know. She nodded, her cheek against his neck. How he loved a woman his height, and her soft body against him inflamed him as the adrenaline wore off, and he felt all of his strength melt. Still, she would not release him. Sylvie, we have to go inside, Mike said. Her tail swished irritably. Let me hold you a little longer, she said. He put a hand over her arm, as he had done with her daughter. He was acutely aware that there were men who fantasized and yearned for a life like this. He just wondered how they would like actually living it. The work, the pain, the crushing weight of responsibility and expectation, and the weariness and drained feeling of that much sex. Of course, he hadn't gotten any for a whole day now. Wait, it had been a day? He replayed his memory. Yes, he had done it with Kurama and Betako the day before. It felt so long. Sylvia finally released him, and Tybalt said, Well, Mike, it's time for more training. Mike groaned. Give me a break, Ty. I just fought off a Kitsune assassin who was totally out of my league. She had 3 tails. Tybalt scoffed. Kings don't get breaks. Don't blame me for your choice to be Crow King and have to actually work. You could have been the Peacock King and just wear fancy clothes all the time. Well, now he tells me, Mike retorted with a grin. See, you love it, soldier boy. The pain is love! And with that, Tybalt spoke the words of magic, and Mike transformed. It didn't hurt, but still everything felt wrong. He was way too small for one, too four-legged for another, and his tail was too long. Oh, he's a very handsome cat, Sylvia cooed. Madame Borgia stepped outside. Are you ready? She asked. No, he replied, and he tried to walk. Move with a purpose, Mike. Get familiar with your new body. Madame, if you please, Tybalt called out. I do, Borgia said, and she yowled, chasing him. Shit! Mike ran, clumsy as hell, and he knew it. The cat tackled him, biting his shoulder and raking her hind claws down his back. That hurt! But his toughened skin was uninjured, at least. Mike struggled to free himself, but his usual grappling skills did not work at all with this body. Mike twisted and her grip faltered. He pulled away, running again. She waited, allowed him to get a little more confident, and then she pounced again, taking him down just as easily as before, and punished him again. Again, he broke free. This time, Mike jumped and climbed a tree. Climbing was easier, he learned, for him anyway. Borgia allowed him to climb, then ran up the tree and hid in the branches. He had seen her moving, but he couldn't see her anymore. A calico should show in the moonlight, to his cat eyes at least. So instead, he tried to listen and smell for her. He moved stealthily, he hoped, trying to find her and to go on the offensive. The height game was his, he thought. He heard her move, but it did not reveal her. He spat in frustration. He was certain that she knew exactly where he was. So he climbed higher and higher. And then he had an idea and crept into the treehouse. There she waited. He launched himself at her, his paws wide as he had seen cats do. She rolled under him, twisting, and tried to get his back again, but he knew she would do it. She was still a creature of instinct. Mike spun on his forepaw and left her clutching air. He took her back, grabbing her scruff in his jaws. She went limp. Victory! He released her and jumped down, trusting his wings to slow his fall. Which they did. They were gone as soon as he settled on the grass, but they had done their job. He sat up, proud. Tybalt returned him to human shape, and then Borgia hopped onto his head and took position on his shoulders. Thank you, you broke my fall perfectly, she said. Live to serve, Mike replied, and he walked inside. Mike went straight to his room, aching. Adela was waiting. The owl perched on the headboard of his, Karen's, bed. Adela bobbed his head in a very owlish nod. Mike untied his white belt and set his black gi aside. He nodded to Adela and lay face down on the bed. Borgia left them. Well, if you can imagine an owl gripping your muscles until they relaxed and then moving along your back and your shoulders, then you will know how a Turkish massage owl operates. It was not pleasant, but it worked. Mike felt much better. Go wash. You stink, Adela said with a hoot, and then he walked to the edge of the bed before flapping away quietly to his private compartment. Mike pulled off his pants and boxers in one pull, and then reached for his bathrobe. Karen was staring at him. He would swear she was drooling, her mouth agape. He turned a slow circle to let her get a good look at everything before putting the robe on. Yes, Karen? He asked. You said the magic word, she said and walked forward in a bathrobe of her own. Oh, but I'm stinky. I need to shower, he protested. I like your musk, she said. I smelled you after your fight and I wanted to tear your clothes off. His dick heard all it needed to and stood up to say hello to his new friend, moving right between the folds of his robe. Oh, hello, she said. It was over quickly, so quickly that Mike felt the need to apologize. The first time will always be fast, she said. Next, we'll take the time to really get to know each other. You know my skin is very sensitive, and especially my breasts, so do be gentle as you do your thing, okay? Did you pump already? He asked. I had to. Don't you worry. I'll let you get some. I'm here all winter, baby. And if I have my say, you are too. And then they cuddled on the bed that had been hers. And after all of the Asian women of his household, Mike adored how tall Karen and Sylvia were, with their long legs and their eyes that were level with his own. Your hair is beautiful, he said. I love how it's black and white and the round pattern, he said. Got it from my father, Karen replied. Under the covers, they touched each other, kissed, took their time. Sylvia found them going at it, carrying a loofah in her hand. She blinked away tears and went back downstairs without a word. Mike was smiling, riding the afterglow, and he asked, Was it better that time? Did I complain the first time? She asked. No, but that's because you're polite, Mike replied. Mike, I loved it, okay? You and me, we're very compatible. We're jolly friends, Mike. I won't bother looking for a guy all winter. You are all I'll need. She kissed him and then closed her eyes. She slid over to straddle him. He couldn't see her face from his position, but He did like what he saw. She moved her breasts to each side. Mike, try not to fall in love, okay? We have a good thing. Friends with great benefits, yes? And then Mike was hurt. It felt like a rejection. I thought we were more than that, he said. Mike, it's why I kept saying friend. I just want a good friend who's great in the sack, and you are both. All I want, Mike. I'm very happy with this. She kissed him again. She shivered against him. Good night, Mike. Maybe Mom will shower with you. She pulled on her robe, blew him a kiss good night, and slipped down the stairs. Ah, just like old times. Yokai who just wanted some human dick and then off they go. He wept bitterly. She hadn't misled him. She'd made her physical only intentions clear. He had only himself to blame for his hurt feelings. Mike pulled on his robe and walked to take a shower, but he paused. He went to Tybalt and Sylvia's room instead, and they were talking while holding each other. Come on in, Mike, Tybalt said, and he lifted up an arm for him. Sylvia had been crying. Mike joined them, facing Sylvia, like when he had slept in their bed. He caressed her. Sylvia, you knew Karen would seduce me, Mike said. And we are now into chapter 4, Tender Loving Cows. It was nearly an accusation, the way Mike said it. I knew she'd drive you to distraction. As for seduction, that was a surprise, she replied. Are you angry with me for responding to her attention? No, not angry. I hoped you'd wait for me. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I couldn't wait. Kylie I can refuse because she's younger, but Karen is fully an adult, and she was very persuasive. I know, Mike. I know. You've already had sex with her. We can still smell the sex on you, Tybalt said. I'm sorry to hurt you, Mike said. Want a bath? I can scrub you and we can play a little, Sylvia suggested. I'd like that, Mike replied. The bath was in the basement and built for big people, but it was still not the multiple occupant bath at Kurama's apartment. Sylvia began filling the water and pulled off her robe. She broke out in goose flesh down there in the basement. She kissed him with an urgency, and he tried to cover her with his robe, but the two of them would not fit. The heavy cow stood against him and kissed him. It would not be special if we did it the same night that you and Karen did, she whispered. I'd last longer, Mike said. Oh, Mike, I don't care if you're a marathon stud or not. I care that you're Mike. My Mike. When you're in my arms, you're my own Mike. No one woman owns me, darling, Mike said softly. You know this, just like no one man owns you. We give love like a gift. He kissed her. Karen does not love me, he added. Oh, the fuck buddy thing, she said. Yeah, that's what she wants. But you're like me. You want love. Yes. Sylvia checked the water temperature and turned it off. It's ready, she said, bent over, and Mike ran a finger down her spine to her tail. She mooed softly and stood up against him and grabbed his hands to touch her where she wanted, maintaining control. And then she said, "Time for the bath." And she held his hands to her round belly. It was a pleasant bath, and now he smelled like oats and honey. "Are these scents cow aphrodisiacs?" Mike asked. "Uh-huh." "Are you tormenting yourself?" "Uh-huh." "Are you tormenting me?" "I hope so." "Uh-huh," Mike replied. "The anticipation is so much more, Mike, than the deed. Take it from my experience." "Thank you for how clean my scar is," Mike said. "It's barely visible," Sylvia replied, kissing his cheek where the scar was. "I want you so bad right now," Mike said. "Thank you. Tonight is not the night." "Is Ty going without too?" "He's now visiting friends," Sylvia replied. "You're really withholding even from your husband for this ideal first time fantasy? Sylvie, that's not healthy," Mike said, pulling on his robe. She scoffed. "Mike, I'll grant you know from unhealthy, but don't piss on my fantasy, okay?" She tied her robe. "Tomorrow is a rest day." "Want to use the time to get those groceries?" she asked. "I'm a man of my word." "Well, let's go then. Put on some casual clothes, preferably a t-shirt with something macho on it." He had so many. He picked a t-shirt that showed an image of a dragon grappling a tiger. Sylvia was dressed like she was planning to attend a rave. "Wanted to feel sexy," she explained, and she treated shopping for groceries at 2300 hours like they were on a date. This must be what it's like to have a normal wife. Hand holding, longing looks, selecting fruit. Sylvia would bake for him without argument about how she was a queen and how queens don't do that. But Sylvia also would not pick up a weapon and kill his enemies either. Nor would she teach him how to fly. The fact that she couldn't fly was secondary. Sylvia and Mike chatted about food, and they did everything in their minds to pretend that they weren't burning with desire for each other. Afterward, Mike helped put the groceries away, satisfied by how domestic and normal the activity was, putting things where they belonged, helping a woman he loved, helping his family. There was nothing transactional about it, like performing his services as a household servant to his lovers. This was an activity between equals. It was a sharing thing. Sylvia kissed him then, long, lingering, slipped him some tongue, too. "Good night, my darling," she said, and tore herself away. Mike followed her up the stairs, and she firmly guided him to the attic. "Please, a little longer. Be patient with me," she said. Mike went to his attic. He saw Hildy waiting for him. She was sitting up and wearing a silky, ankle-length nightgown. It was the color of gold, and it offset the golden hue of her bones quite nicely. "Hello, love," Mike said, and then he changed into his pajamas. "I wanted to cuddle and talk," she said. Mike yawned. "I think we'll do that in the dream time," she added. Mike nodded and climbed into bed. Hildy was not soft, but at least she wasn't heavy, and he didn't mind her laying against him at all. He felt her finger bones caress him in the dark. Sleep, my love, she said, and he was soon dreaming. In this dream, Hildy was her fleshy self, which was an impossible, moon-drenched dream world of silvery grass and willow trees. I want to know what's on your mind. But first, can we? Mike asked. Hildy pulled off the golden nightgown. Let's, she replied, grinning. And Hildy told him about how things were going back home, which were quite tranquil, but for Kurama being a bit snappy. Mei cried because she missed him, and it set Fushin and Kurama off as well. Joe was a baby, a red-faced, screaming pooper. He was beloved by the whole household. Lilia wanted photos to show to her friends, and Hildy and Lilia had a lively texting relationship going on. Since Hildy was available all day and only worked at night, their friendship was growing as a result. Whisper had been sent to check on Shizu, and she was not expected to return for a few days. Mike was glad of the news and comforted that he was still loved and missed. Sylvia still won't fuck me, but she says she really wants to, Mike complained. Poor thing. How you must suffer, Hildy said. Sylvia's the fleshiest girl you know. You must ache for her. Mike nodded. Want me to become her? I can do everything you want to do to her, and love every bit of it, she offered. Mike was tempted. No, I only want you to be you and characters that we create together. Never another person. Hey, want me to be Rebel Wilson? I just said no real people. Oh, how about Babette, the French noblewoman? How about more of that sweet sugar from Hildy? Okay. Mike woke, and Hildy caressed his hair in the morning. He braced himself for the sight of her skull, and he was able to smile. She sighed lovingly. Good morning, Mike. I'll be leaving now, she said, and she was gone in a twinkle of golden motes. You keep odd company. Who was that, Santa Muerte? Borgia asked, climbing from under his bed to the top. No, that's Hilda, one of my girlfriends. But she's a skeleton. She's a skeleton, all right. But you like fat women like Sylvia. I like women for who they are, not just their bodies. But you like fat women bodies. Yes, he snapped. And a skeleton is the opposite. Yes, you keep odd company. We both do, cat. Touche. Anyway, who's Santa Muerte? She's a skeleton goddess worshipped in Mexico. Mike texted Kurama to have a meeting with the Kitsune League and to bring Hildy and Whisper in case of treachery. She acknowledged, but she did not send any other message. Mike determined she must be busy. And then Borgia purred, rubbing against him. He stroked her for a while, and then went downstairs to wash his hands for breakfast. Tybalt finally trained him in how to use the tiger claw. Assassins in India would use these, poisoning them, of course, Tybalt explained. He didn't spend too much time on it, though, preferring to help Mike with his ground fighting. Sylvia worked him just as hard, doing squats and deep knee bends. And Karen watched him work. Her eyes were wide with hunger. And that night, when Mike checked his phone and found a video message from Whisper, he saw Whisper and Shizu, both in human shape. They blew him kisses and told him they loved him. Shizu had a bandage over one eye, and one of her arms was in a sling. She told him not to worry. His plain concubine's injuries temporarily made Mike's vision go dark as anger washed through him. But he calmed, because after all, she had succeeded in her mission. Gakuzo the Pretender was dead. The Kitsune received the message loud and clear. Leave the offspring alone. And he was reading a text from Lilia when Karen came to him. Lilia had sent, "I'm going to visit you tomorrow." Cleared it with Tybalt. Mike replied, "Great, love you." And then Karen was kissing him. His phone buzzed, and he looked over her shoulder to read, "Be ready for me." He texted the reply, "I will," and set down his phone to devote his attention to the one he was with. "I told Mom I was on my way," Karen explained. "I'll tell her when I'm done with you, too." "I hate that. Done with you," Mike said. "Oh, Mike, don't get mad. You're my regular thing. My only guy all winter." "I'm not a thing, regular or otherwise. I can't do this," Mike insisted, and pushed her back. "But, Mike, we're jolly friends, and you do that thing with your two fingers that I like, and I have these." She lifted her heavy breasts. "This works great for you. I get that. But it's not for me," Mike said. "I need to be loved." Karen frowned. "I was good enough last night, but tonight you're too good for me? After we took the time to find out we are super compatible?" "I'm not a sex puppet." "Of course you're not. You're my friend. I care about you, Mike. How could you think I don't? I just hate the L word. It's a fake thing to sell crappy movies and books." "No, Karen. Love isn't fake. It's different than like, and it's different than great sex. I could show you." "Don't say that word with me, Mike," Karen warned. "You are not allowed to fall in love with me." "Then I won't say yes," Mike replied. "I was going to let you drink my milk," she said, and stood up to go. "What are you running away from?" "I'm just your jolly friend, Mike," Mike replied. She stopped to look over her shoulder at him. Her eyes were wet. "I'm sorry. I can't be having these feelings that you want. I'm not built that way." "Stop," Mike said as she neared the stairs. "What?" she sobbed. "You're good enough," he said. "You're beautiful, intelligent, and you're good enough for me." She ran back to him, falling